dust floating through afternoon light. Inside the UCD shop, you picked up an old album and laughed when you saw the price sticker. Your cracked white iPod still works somehow, even though the screen flickered. Every time you change songs, you handed me one earbud, and suddenly an old love song played, the same one we listened to constantly during the summer by the river. Outside the store, spring wind moved through the shopping street. But inside my chest, everything rewound instantly. You used to sing lyrics wrong on purpose, then laugh when I corrected you. Back then, even boring days felt important somehow. We walked slowly through narrow aisles, reading album covers silently. Your shoulder brushing mine sometimes, like nothing had changed at all. But nostalgia's dangerous like that. It makes old feelings sound beautiful, even the painful parts. You asked, do you ever miss those days while staring at the CDs without looking at me directly? I wanted to answer honestly, to tell you I missed everything. The music, the city, the version of us back then. But instead I just smiled lightly, like memories didn't still hurt. Now whenever old songs start playing in random stores or cafes, I feel spring return for a second, along with your voice beside me. Rain falling over the highway, wipers moving back and forth slowly. You drove with one hand on the wheel, the other resting beside the gear shift. Street lights blurred through the windshield, orange reflections on wet asphalt. The whole expressway looked endless, like we could disappear forever. At the service area, we bought terrible coffee from the machine. Your hoodie damp from the rain, steam rising to cold night air. Truck driver smoked under fluorescent lights. Some late night radio played softly nearby. Everything felt cinematic in that lonely kind of way. You said, let's just keep driving, and honestly I almost agreed. But immediately, no destination, no real plan, just two tired people escaping Tokyo at 2 a.m. in the rain. Inside the car, your playlist filled the silence. Old songs we overplayed last summer, back when things still felt easy. You smiled for the first time all night while eating convenience store snacks. And suddenly I remembered why I fell in love with you. The rain got heavier after midnight, covering the windows completely, making the whole world outside disappear. Now every highway service area feels strangely emotional, like somewhere out there that version of us is still driving. Cardboard boxes near the doorway, your sandals still on the balcony. An empty apartment echoing softly while afternoon sunlight filled the room. The big blue IKEA bag sat beside the kitchen table, full of random little things we forgot to divide properly. Old movie tickets, phone chargers, half-used candles, without us, like love itself had moved out already. Later you stood on the balcony, looking at the evening sky, your hair moving in the wind while I memorized the shape of you there. Some breakups happened dramatically, but ours sounded more like cardboard boxes dragging across wooden floors on a warm spring afternoon. Now every empty apartment feels strangely familiar, like part of our life still lives inside those white walls. We climbed the emergency stairs quietly, sneaking into the rooftop before sunrise. The whole city still half asleep, blue light covering every building. You shared one Bluetooth earbud with me, a soft playlist playing between us, wind moving through your hair slowly while Tokyo glowed underneath convenience store coffee and cold hands. Your oversized hoodie smelled like rain. You talked about leaving the city someday, like it was already decided. I asked where you wanted to go. You pointed somewhere far away, past the buildings, past the trains, past everything we already knew. The sky slowly turned orange, birds started appearing above the station, and for a second everything felt possible. You laughed while fixing your messy hair, then looked at me suddenly serious. What if we disappear someday? You asked like it was a joke, but something about your voice made my chest feel tight. Below us, morning train started moving again. Tiny people walking to work like another normal weekday beginning. Meanwhile, we stayed frozen there between night and morning, too young to understand how fast life actually changes. Now every sunrise over Tokyo feels a little lonely, like part of me still exists on that rooftop beside you. You cut your hair last weekend. Now it barely touches your shoulders. Everyone says you look different, but somehow you look more like yourself. Late afternoon outside the station, wind moving through your short hair, silver earrings catching sunlight while you smile like nothing changed. But everything changed a little. You used to hide behind long sleeves, long hair covering half your face. Now you walk faster somehow, like you stopped being afraid to be seen. We sat near the river afterward, iced coffee sweating on the table. You asked quietly, does it really suit me? And honestly, I almost forgot to answer, because you look beautiful in that effortless kind of way, like summer arriving suddenly after too much rain. Your shampoo still smells the same, your laugh still gets too loud sometimes, but there's something lighter about you now, like you finally let something go. Street lights turned on above us, cars moving slowly after sunset. You tucked your short hair behind your ear while music leaked from your AirPods. I wanted to tell you then that I was falling for you all over again, but moments like that are dangerous, too real to say out loud. Now every time the wind blows, I think about that evening, you standing under fading light with your new short hair moving softly. Maybe that's how love starts sometimes, not with dramatic words, just noticing someone differently on an ordinary day in summer. summer. Last summer feels stuck inside my room somehow, like heat that never fully disappeared. I still remember your white t-shirt hanging from the balcony, moving slowly in the evening wind while music played from your iPhone speaker. We stayed awake too late every night, watching random YouTube videos, laughing at things that weren't even funny just because we were together. Convenience store ice cream melting too fast, your cold hand against my arm, fireworks somewhere far away, and trains passing through the dark. You always wanted to walk at night, even with nowhere to go. So we wandered through quiet streets, talking about impossible futures. You said you wanted to leave someday. Different city, different life, somewhere near the ocean, maybe. I remember the exact way you looked under vending machine lights, hair slightly wet from humidity, eyes reflecting blue and white. Back then, everything felt unfinished, like summer itself will continue forever. We share one pair of AirPods on almost every train ride, your playlist slowly becoming mine without either of us noticing. Sometimes you fell asleep beside me before the movie even started, your head on my shoulder, breathing softly like the world was peaceful. Now, another summer is starting again, but the streets feel different somehow. The air is the same temperature, yet everything feels quieter. I passed the old Riverwalk yesterday, couples sitting where we used to, and for one second I almost expected to see you there. Funny how memories work, you never realize a moment matters until it becomes something you replay alone at night. Last summer still follows me in songs, in warm wind, in convenience store lights after sunset. And sometimes when evening comes, I still miss you so suddenly, like the season itself never learned how to let you go. Morning train on the Emerald line, everybody staring at their phones. Gray sky above Tokyo, coffee breath and sleepy faces everywhere. You used to text me constantly, tiny updates all day long. Photos of lunch, screenshots of songs, random thoughts before sleeping. Now our chat feels colder, short replies, long pauses, half-finished conversations at Shinjuku Station. People move like waves around me, meanwhile I stood still, reading your unfinished message again. Maybe we should cherry blossoms above the sidewalk. You walked out of Taya slowly, holding old romance movies in your arms. You laughed at the dramatic covers while fixing your hair in the window reflection. I pretended to browse magazines just to stay near you longer. The cashier looked half asleep, late night radio playing softly somewhere. Spring evenings in Tokyo always felt a little lonely. You asked if I wanted coffee before going home. I answered too quickly, and you smiled without looking at me. We sat near the river afterward, talking about random little things. Movies we loved, songs we hated, places we wanted to escape to someday. But honestly, I barely heard the conversation, because I was too busy memorizing the sound of your voice. Pink petals landed on your sleeves, the city lights reflected on the water. Everything looked temporary in the prettiest way possible. First love feels strange like that. One ordinary night suddenly becomes something you replay forever. Now, whenever spring air feels warm, or I pass an old rental store, I still think about you, walking beside me slowly under cherry blossoms. Cold air in the parking lot, Boston lights glowing after midnight. You bought corn soup from the vending machine. I held a black coffee I barely drank. Your hands stayed inside your sleeves. Mine stayed buried in my pockets. Cars passed slowly on the wet road, splashing rainwater across the asphalt. We talked about random things first, work, stress, music, a friend moving away soon. Both of us pretending there wasn't something heavier underneath. You leaned against the guardrail quietly, steam rising near your face. Your jacket smelled like cigarettes and fabric softener. Then suddenly you asked, do you think people change naturally? Like it was casual, but I knew it wasn't. I laughed softly instead of answering, watching headlights reflect in puddles. The whole parking lot shimmered silver under fluorescent lights. Some couple walked past us, sharing one umbrella together, and somehow that felt sadder than the rain itself. You finished the soup slowly, then looked up at the cloudy sky. I miss how things used to feel. You said almost silently, I wanted to stop the night right there before goodbye became real, before we turned into memories, standing outside a convenience store. Now every winter parking lot feels a little haunted somehow, like part of my youth still lives beside you there. Rain outside the subway window, people rushing with umbrellas. Your message still unopened, while my sandwich slowly gets cold. Footlong cut in half, iced coffee and extra veggies. AirPods playing soft pop songs while I study English alone. Same seat near the glass, every afternoon lately. Watching traffic lights change colors, like time moving without asking me. You used to sit across from me, stealing fries and laughing quietly. Now it's just my iPhone screen, lighting up the empty table. Lunch break disappearing slowly, plastic cups and paper wrappers. Small conversations in the background, mixing with the sound of rain. I write random words in my notes at places I still wanna see someday. Sometimes outside the window, school uniforms pass by. Someone running through the crosswalk, trying not to get soaked. Everything feels temporary lately, even familiar places, even songs I used to love, even us. But still there's something comforting about sitting here alone, with cheap coffee and quiet music. Lunch break almost over, I throw the wrappers away. One last look at our old chat, then lock my phone again. Rain still falling softly against the subway window, and somewhere inside the noise, I still hear your voice a little. Tiny apartment balcony, cold wind after midnight. You stood there smoking quietly, wrapped inside my oversized sweater. Inside the room, laundry hung near the heater. Your Netflix profile still glowing softly across the dark television screen. You talked about moving away like it was just another idea, but I heard sadness hiding under every careful word. Cars move slowly below us, deep night radio from another apartment. Tokyo glowing endlessly, like the city never needed sleep. You touched my hand once, then looked away immediately. Some feelings become obvious without ever being spoken aloud. Spring always felt dangerous somehow, like everything changed too quickly. Warm air arriving suddenly before people are ready for it. Your cigarette smoke drifted upward, mixing with cold night air. And I remember thinking how temporary everything looked. You told me maybe people meet at the wrong time, then laugh quietly afterward, like you regretted saying it. I wanted to tell you to stay forever, to stop talking about leaving, to choose me completely. But instead we stood there silently, listening to traffic far below us and songs from somebody else's room. Eventually you went back inside, folding laundry like normal, while I stayed on the balcony alone, watching spring move through the city. Now every midnight apartment light feels strangely nostalgic to me, like somewhere out there another version of us still exists. Bullet train doors closing slowly, cold air moving through the station. You held my sleeve tightly, like distance could still be stopped somehow. The departure melody played softly. People rushed around us endlessly, but everything sounded underwater, except your breathing beside me. Long distance love feels strange, too much waiting, too many countdowns for moments that disappear too fast. You smile while trying not to cry, outside the window. Spring rain covered the city. Your reflection faded softly as the train prepared to leave. We bought coffee from 7-Eleven, too nervous to drink it. Your suitcase beside your shoes, like proof this was really happening. You asked quietly, when do you think we'll meet again? And I answered too casually, like acting calm could save us. The train doors closed between us, bright lights reflecting on the platform. You pressed your hand to the glass for one small second. Then slowly you disappeared into movement, steel tracks and rainy scenery, carrying you away from me. I stayed there after everything ended, watching empty rails silently, like the station itself still expected you back. Now every Shinkansen platform feels colder than before, and every departure melody still sounds a little like heartbreak. Warm wind near the river, cherry blossoms moving slowly. You walked into the rental video store like a scene from an old movie. You picked romance films ironically, laughing at dramatic covers. I kept pretending to browse just to stay near you longer. The cashier looked half asleep. The radio played in the background. Spring evenings in Tokyo always felt a little lonely. You asked if I wanted coffee after returning the movies. I said yes too quickly, and you laughed quietly. We walked beside the river afterward, talking about random things, but my heart kept replaying every tiny movement you made. First love feels embarrassing like that. Small moments become everything, and suddenly one person starts living inside your thoughts. Pink petals stuck to your sleeve, streetlights reflected on the water. You kept talking about movies while I barely heard the words. I was too distracted by the sound of your laughter and the way spring air moved through your hair. The city smelled like rain and flowers, bicycles passing beside us slowly. Everything ordinary somehow felt unbelievably important. Even now, years later, whenever spring nights feel warm, I still think about that video store and the version of me who loved you. Midday, rain and morning, fog on the apartment window. You text me 5 more minutes before getting ready for work. Coffee from 7-Eleven, your hoodie smelled like soft and herb. Blue station lights on your face while Tokyo moved outside. Tuesday late subway ride, one AirPod between sleep after overtime. Wednesday night, video call, Netflix paused halfway again. Through the iPhone speakers, I heard your quiet breathing. Blue light filled my bedroom at almost 3 a.m. I stayed awake a little longer just to hear your voice. Thursday after sudden rain, Shibuya crossing glowing silver. You ran through puddles laughing, sneakers splashing under neon lights. Friday midnight taxi ride, oh pop songs on the radio. Your hand touched mine once, then stayed there quietly. Street lights crossed your face, orange and blue through the window. You smiled without looking at me, like you already knew everything. Saturday near the river, McDonald's fries getting cold, summer wind around us while you talked about leaving Tokyo someday. I watched the water instead, pretending I wasn't already in love. Sunday sunset near the station, your head resting on my shoulder. I hate tomorrow mornings, you whispered softly, but weeks change fast, 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 Monday unread messages, Tuesday cold replies, Wednesday empty cafe, our old playlist playing again. Thursday midnight driving, rain covering the windshield. You asked, do people naturally grow apart? Friday convenience store lights, corn soup warm in your hands, cold wind through the parking lot while silence filled the space between us. Saturday after the breakup, even Shibuya felt too loud. Everybody moving normally while my whole world felt different. Sunday spring evening, cherry blossoms near the station. An ordinary week together, still repeating inside my memory. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day still sounds like you. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Tokyo keeps replaying us. Sunday night again, your old voice now playing softly before another week began. You keep fixing your hair, checking your phone every minute, pretending you don't care, but everybody already knows. Your friends laugh beside you while you stare out the window, acting calm on the outside with fireworks inside your chest. You say, what if he doesn't feel the same? Then immediately change the subject, like the question scares you too much. But listen, you look happiest whenever his name appears, like sunlight suddenly reaching your face without warning. So go tell him life moves too fast for maybe someday, too fast for unsent messages, too fast for waiting forever inside your own thoughts. You deserve a love that feels exciting and peaceful, late night calls, long walks, someone genuinely happy to see you. And honestly, he'd probably smile if he knew. You keep replaying tiny moments, the way he looked at you yesterday, how your hands almost touched while reaching for the same thing. Meanwhile, the whole world keeps moving, trains leave the station, seasons changing quietly, summer becoming autumn again. Don't let fear make the decision for you. Maybe nothing changes, maybe everything changes, but either way, at least your heart gets to breathe honestly. You spent too long hiding your feelings behind jokes, behind just whatever, behind pretending not to care. But love isn't embarrassing, wanting someone isn't weakness, and your feelings don't become smaller just because you keep them secret. So wear the outfit you feel pretty in, play the songs that make you brave, take one deep breath and stop overthinking every little detail, because one day you'll laugh about how nervous you were, and maybe someday you'll sit beside him somewhere crossing after rain. Hundreds of umbrellas moving, everyone rushing somewhere, except me. I check my phone again, still no reply from you. Traffic lights changing colors like they were mocking me. Music leaked from somebody's headphones, cars reflected on wet streets. Tokyo looks cinematic in the saddest way possible. You used to call me every single night. Now I stare at scene notifications like they mean everything. The giant screen above the crossing played another YouTube ad. People laughed beside me, but the city felt empty. Funny how loneliness works, even surrounded by crowds. One missing message can change an entire night. Rainwater soaked through my sneakers, cold wind moving through buildings. Some couple nearby shared an umbrella while I pretended not to look. I opened our old chat again, scrolling through winter conversations, tiny jokes and blurry photos from nights that felt endless. The crosswalk lights turn green again. People float around me endlessly, but I stayed standing still, like I was waiting for something impossible. Maybe heartbreak in big cities looks quieter than movies. Just one person alone in Shibuya, refreshing a screen over and over. I loved you, I really did. Even now, I still remember the way your voice sounded late at night. But maybe we just don't work anymore. Not because somebody cheated, not because we hated each other, just little things slowly breaking until love started feeling heavy. We had good moments too, summer nights without plans, laughing too loudly in empty streets, sharing one pair of headphones on late trains. I still remember all of it, the songs we played too many times, the streets we always walked together, window reflections beside each other, your hand pulling on my sleeve softly. Back then I thought those nights would last forever. But lately every conversation turns into silence, every small misunderstanding grows larger, and even being together feels lonely somehow. You noticed it too, I could tell by the way you looked away whenever we talked about the future. Maybe love isn't always enough, maybe caring about someone deeply doesn't automatically mean you can stay beside them forever. That truth hurts more than I expected. Now certain songs feel dangerous, certain places feel impossible to visit, because everything still carries pieces of you. The crossing near the station, the river walk at sunset, cold air during evening train rides, all of it still sounds like us. I loved you, and honestly, part of me probably always will. But I think we both know now we can't keep pretending things are okay just because we're afraid to say goodbye. Sometimes ending something is kinder than forcing it to survive. Even if it hurts, even if I still wanna call you, doesn't always fail dramatically. Sometimes it just quietly becomes memory, while life keeps moving forward around it. So, if someday you hear our old song somewhere, or walk through streets we used to know, I hope you smile a little. Not because we stay together, but because for a while we really loved each other. Morning light inside the airport, rolling suitcases everywhere. You try smiling normally, like this wasn't breaking us apart. At the departure gate, your fingers stayed inside mine longer than usual, like time could stretch somehow. We bought coffee from 7-Eleven, too early to be awake. You left and said, don't make this dramatic, but your eyes look different, soft and almost afraid. And suddenly the whole airport felt too bright and cold. Announcements echoed above us, people leaving for somewhere new. But all I could think about was distance becoming real. You fixed your hair nervously, watching airplanes through the glass. Morning clouds moving slowly above the runway lights. You said we'll probably be okay, but your voice sounded fragile, like even you didn't believe it. I memorized tiny details, your oversized gray hoodie, your tired smile, your hands hiding in the sleeves. Then your boarding group was called and everything started moving too fast. One last hug, one last wave. You disappeared past the gate without looking back again. And honestly, a part of me left with you. Street lights shining on the wet road, you walking slower than before. Laundry spinning at the laundromat, 2 a.m. and nobody talking. Your hoodie smell like cigarette smoke, mine smell like fabric softener. Outside the windows, rainwater moved like silver lines. We fought about something stupid, now neither of us remembers what. But silence felt heavier than all the words before it. You stared at your reflection inside the dryer door. I watched your tired eyes, pretending not to miss you already. Neon on your cheeks, coffee can in your cold hands. Tokyo after rain, always look beautiful with you. The vending machine buzzed softly, a train passed somewhere nearby. Everything felt suspended between staying and leaving. You asked quietly, do you think people get tired of love? I laughed like it was nothing, but honestly I was scared too. Your phone screen lit up your face, tiny drops of rain on your sleeves. I wanted to hold your hand again. Something stopped me. Maybe heartbreak starts like this, not dramatic, not loud, just two people growing distant under fluorescent midnight lights. Even now when rain falls late at night, I slow down near laundromats. ice cream on a summer afternoon. The closer I get to you, the faster time seems to move. We met with no real plans, just walking through the heat. You're laughing with sunlight in your eyes, making ordinary days feel sweet. Vanilla on your fingertips, strawberry on your smile. You said you should try this one, and suddenly I stayed a little longer. Love felt easy back then, like ice cream after school, like warm wind through open windows, like having nowhere important to be. You melt like ice cream, soft around the edges, impossible to hold forever, no matter how carefully I try. We sat on a low wall, watching people pass by, talking about places we'd visit someday, as if summer would never end. But seasons always change. The afternoons got shorter, the messages got slower, and somewhere between then and now we became memories instead of plans. Still, I remember the little things, the way you always chose two flavors, the way you stole bites from mine, the way your eyes lit up before you even took the first taste. Funny how love is like ice cream sometimes, sweet while it lasts, messy if you hold on too tightly, gone faster than you expect, yet somehow worth it every time. Now every summer when I'm passing an ice cream shop, part of me goes back there, sunlight to laughter, to sticky hands and easy conversations, to the version of us that thought forever was a real place. You melt like ice cream, but maybe that was never the problem. Maybe the beauty was always that we knew it wouldn't last, and loved it anyway. Empty highway before sunrise, blue-gray Tokyo skyline, Oasis playing softly from the speakers, low enough to almost disappear. You stared out the passenger window, drawing shapes into the fog, like your thoughts already lived somewhere far away from me. Street lights passed rhythmically, one after another endlessly, neither of us saying much, but silence explained enough. The argument from earlier still lingered between cold coffee cans and cigarette smoke. I wanted to fix everything somehow, but didn't know where to start. You asked quietly, do people really change? I laughed casually, even though it scared me. The whole city looks suspended between night and morning, and somewhere on that highway I think we quietly ended. Not dramatically, not loudly, just slowly fading apart before sunrise reached us. Laundry moving near the window, afternoon sunlight on white walls, coffee smell filling the apartment, everything soft and quiet. Your favorite Uniqlo hoodie still hanging near the doorway, like you might suddenly come back after work tonight. You left tiny sticky notes everywhere, don't forget your lunch. Text me when you get home, small things that somehow matter most. Convenience store dinners after midnight, sharing one blanket in winter, watching random TV together, falling asleep halfway through movies. No luxury, no perfect future plans, just two tired people in Tokyo trying to survive together. I didn't know happiness could look this ordinary until silence replaced it completely. Now the apartment echoes differently, too clean and too quiet, and every little object here still remembers you somehow. Windows open near the ocean, saw air filling the car. Your white Nike sneakers on the dashboard, music way too loud. You danced at every red light without caring who watched. Summer made everything feel endless, like consequences didn't exist. We bought melting ice cream near the beach after sunset. Orange light on your cheeks when moving through your hair. You talked about leaving Tokyo someday, living somewhere slower and warmer. I listened quietly beside you, pretending it didn't scare me. Young love always feels permanent right before it disappears. That's probably why summer hurts more after it ends. Now every late night drive near the ocean feels nostalgic immediately, like part of my youth still lives there with you. And sometimes when warm wind blows through open car windows, I still hear your laughter mixed into the sound of waves. Coffee getting cold beside my hands, rain outside the cafe window. I was supposed to be working, but your old playlist started suddenly. Then Oasis came on softly, and the whole room changed instantly. Your silver headphones, your sleepy winter face, your hand pulling my hoodie sleeve. You used to dance inside Starbucks lines while waiting for your drink, ignoring everyone around us like embarrassment didn't exist. The city outside kept moving fast, people crossing intersections endlessly. But inside my headphones, time completely stopped. Music is dangerous like that. One song can reopen everything. One melody can bring someone back years after they disappear. I stared at the empty seat across from me, pretending not to miss you again. But honestly, some memories never really leave. Now every cafe near the station feels slightly haunted somehow, like your voice still exists between conversations and coffee steam. Rain falling softly on the sidewalk, your clear umbrella hitting my shoulder. We stopped at Family Mart again, even though neither of us needed anything. Hot snacks near the register, steam floating into cold night air. You laughed while warming your hands on a paper cup of cafe latte. The streets looked silver after midnight, taxi lights stretching across puddles. Tokyo felt strangely quiet, like the city already knew. You kept fixing your wet hair, looking down at your phone too much, and I kept pretending not to notice the distance growing slowly. music leaking quietly between silence. You said maybe we both changed a little. Want me to stop time right there under fluorescent convenience store lights before goodbye became real. Before morning came too fast. Now every rainy walk home feels colder than it used to, and every family mart at midnight still reminds me of you. Rain falling after midnight, your name's still inside my phone. I almost deleted everything, but stopped before pressing enter. Outside the station, people hurry toward the last train. Meanwhile, I stand there thinking about all the words I never said. Maybe we were both stubborn, maybe timing got messy. Maybe love gets quiet sometimes before it disappears completely. But I keep feeling like it's still not too late. Still not too late to call you unexpectedly, to walk beside you again, like nothing ever broke between us. Still not too late to say the honest things I kept hiding behind jokes and unfinished conversations. I remember your tired smile, blue light across your face, the way you close your sleeves over your hands whenever cold wind started blowing. Those small things stay forever somehow. Friends tell me to move on, but your feelings work that easily. But certain people remain long after the story changes. Tonight the city feels softer, traffic sounds far away. The song we used to love playing quietly inside a convenience store. And suddenly I can picture everything again. Summer nights, late trains, your voice saying my name softly. Still not too late. That bad juice following me through crowded streets, through sleepless nights, through every version of tomorrow. Maybe one message changes everything. Maybe one conversation saves us. Maybe love doesn't disappear instantly. Maybe it waits quietly somewhere. I don't need perfect endings, movie scenes with dramatic moments. I just want another evening walking next to you on an ordinary lights path by. Still not too late. I whisper it to myself like a promise, like a prayer, like something I need to believe. And for the first time in a while, the future doesn't feel completely closed anymore. Day by day, morning light through dirty windows, your message lighting up my phone before I'm fully awake. Day by day, same station every weekday, same crowded train doors closing, same songs inside my AirPods. But somehow everything feels different since you started appearing in all my ordinary moments. You laugh with your whole face like you forget people are watching, then suddenly get quiet while staring outside the window. Day by day I learn small things about you, which snacks you always buy, how you tie your hair when tired. Late evenings after work, walking slowly with no no destination, streetlights reflecting in puddles while we talk about nothing important. And maybe that's why it matters. Day by day you become part of my routine, part of train rides, part of playlists, part of the silence in my room. Sometimes you call unexpectedly just to say random things, like how the sunset looked nice or how you couldn't sleep again. I never know what to answer, but I always stay on the phone longer than I probably should. Day by day seasons start changing quietly, warm wind replacing cold nights, new songs replacing old ones. But some feelings stay exactly the same. You standing beside vending machines, blue light on your tired face, your oversized hoodie moving in the wind like a scene from something unfinished. Day by day I think I'm falling deeper, without dramatic moments, without realizing when it started. Just slowly, naturally, like evenings turning into night. And now every ordinary day feels a little brighter somehow, just because somewhere inside it there's always you. Step by step, walking through the evening crowd, your white sneakers next to mine, making small sounds on the sidewalk. Step by step, signal lights changing slowly, cars passing through the rain, while music leaks from your AirPods. You talk about little things, videos you watched last night, places you wanna visit someday, songs you can't stop replaying lately. And honestly, I could listen forever. Step by step, we keep moving without rushing. No big plans, no perfect future, just a night in the city lights. Convenience store, glow behind us, cold wind moving through your hair. You pull your sleeves over your hands and laugh at something random again. Sometimes love feels exactly like this, not dramatic, not loud, just somebody becoming part of your routine. Step by step, train sounds underneath the bridge, a reflection beside mine in dark shop windows. You suddenly ask me, what if everything changes someday? But before I answer, you smile like you already know. Maybe growing up happens quietly, walks home after midnight, and unfinished conversations and moments nobody photographed. Step by step, I started memorizing everything, your voice, your habits, the way you look away when embarrassed. Now even ordinary streets feel connected to you somehow, like every crossing remembers we were here together once. Step by step, even if seasons change, even if someday we drift apart, part of me will keep walking beside you. Through late trains, through summer rain, through all the nights we never wanted to end. You stay on my mind, like a song I didn't choose, playing quietly in the background no matter what I try to do. Morning train, half asleep, hands buried in my hoodie. People moving past me quickly, but somehow I still see you in silver window reflections, and girls wearing oversized jackets, and random words I hear outside. Everything leads back to you lately. I tell myself it's nothing, just another passing feeling, but then your old voice no place, and suddenly the whole night changes. You stay on my mind during small ordinary moments, crossing streets, waiting miles becoming dangerous. Certain places feeling different after someone leaves part of themselves there. Late at night, I scroll through old messages again, not even reading them properly, just wanting to feel close to you somehow. Yeah, your laugh still echoes perfectly inside my memory, like it happened 5 minutes ago instead of months. Friends talking, I'm not alone, but honestly, half my thoughts are somewhere else. Walking beside you again, you stay on my mind, like summer heat after sunset, soft but impossible to ignore. Even when the season changes, sometimes I wish I could stop it, erase it cleanly from my head. But then I think about your smile, and I don't really want to. Maybe this is what love becomes after timing ruins everything. Not fireworks, not dramatic endings, just somebody quietly staying with you forever. You stay on my mind in trains and rain and late night city lights, and somehow I think part of me hopes you always will. 3 a.m. at McDonald's, French fries getting cold. On the tray, your student ID beside your phone, while summer air moved through the open door. We stayed there until morning, talking about impossible futures, apartments we never afford, cities we wanted to escape to. You drew little stars on napkins while laughing at terrible music. I remember thinking I had never seen anyone more beautiful. Outside the windows, bikes rolled through empty streets. The city felt half asleep, like it belonged only to us. You stole my hoodie because you were cold, even though it was still August. Then acted annoyed when I pointed it out. We shared headphones for a while, listening to songs quietly. Your shoulder pressed against mine, warm under fluorescent lights. Back then, love felt simple somehow. No schedules, no distance, no complicated conversations, just late night fries, blue tinted windows, and your laughter echoing across empty seats. When sunrise finally appeared, you looked outside and smiled softly, like you wished the night could stay forever too. Now every McDonald's after midnight feels strangely nostalgic, like part of my youth. Never really left those plastic seats. Shibuya after the last train, rainwater shining on the crossing. We got into the backseat quietly, without really looking at each other. The taxi smelled like cigarettes and old leather seats. City lights moved across your face in blue and orange colors. You kept staring out the window, watching umbrellas pass by. I kept checking my phone screen, pretending not to notice the silence. Usually you talk too much, random stories, songs stuck in your head, things you saw on YouTube at 1 a.m. But tonight felt different somehow, heavy in a quiet way, like both of us already knew something like it might become goodbye someday. Now every taxi ride through Shibuya feels strangely lonely, like part of my heart is still sitting beside you there. You're amazing, even when you don't notice it. Hair still messy in the morning, looking for your phone, half asleep. You're amazing, laughing at your own bad jokes, dancing badly in convenience store aisles like nobody else exists. Small silver rings on your fingers, oversized hoodie in the summer rain, the way you hum random melodies without realizing I'm listening. You make ordinary places brighter, late trains, parking lots, quiet cafes after sunset. You're amazing, even on the days you feel lost, even when your voice gets quieter and your eyes look tired. I wish you could see yourself the way I do sometimes, like city lights after rainfall, soft and impossible to forget. Talk about your future softly, like you're scared to want too much, but honestly, I think you could go anywhere. You're amazing, walking beside me at night, street lights moving across your face while music leaks from your AirPods. Sometimes you suddenly stop talking, just watching cars pass by, and somehow even silence feels beautiful around you. Maybe you don't believe compliments, maybe you laugh them away, but I'll keep saying them anyway until one day you finally do. You're amazing in all the smallest ways, and somehow those are the ones that stay forever. Last train underneath the city, blue lights flicker on your face. You lean against the subway door, listening through your AirPods again. Nobody talks this late, only train sounds and quiet breathing. Advertisements sliding past the windows like dreams we never followed. You trace circles on my hand slowly while half asleep beside me, your reflection shaking in the glass. Every time the train turns corners, next stop, no, but nobody gets off. The whole car feels suspended somewhere between tonight and morning. Subway running under streetlights, under restaurants, under crowded apartments, under people falling in and out of love. You suddenly ask me, do you think we'll remember this? I smile like it's a stupid question, even though I know exactly what you mean. Convenience store coffee in your back, a paperback half unread, your white sneakers tapping softly against the subway floor outside above us. Rain probably still falling, but down here everything feels strangely calm. A couple sleeps across the seats, someone watches videos silently. Meanwhile I memorize the sound of your voice between stations. Maybe love looks like this sometimes, nothing dramatic, just small nights moving quietly through tunnels together. Your stop arrives too quickly, doors opening with cold air. You wave once before leaving, and suddenly the train feels enormous now. Every day subway ride still reminds me of you. Blue lights, quiet stations, and the feeling of almost saying something important. lights inside the night bus. Everybody sleeping quietly. You shared one AirPod with me while the city disappeared outside. Highway lights stretched endlessly across the dark windows. Your head rested on my shoulder, warm and half asleep. Your playlist moved between soft songs and old K-pop we both loved. You laughed quietly and whispered, "Don't fall asleep before me." At the first surface area, cold wind hit us instantly. You held on to my sleeve while buying hot coffee from the vending machine. The parking lot smelled like rain and gasoline and winter air. Trucks resting under orange lights, like the whole world paused with us. You asked if we lived somewhere else. Do you think we'd be different? I stared at the highway instead of answering. Back on the bus, you slowly fell asleep beside me, your hair touching my neck while the moon started turning the sky blue. I remember thinking then that happiness felt exactly like this. Quiet music, moving lights, and you beside me in the last seat. Now every overnight bus feels strangely empty. Even when every seat is full, I still look for you beside me. Small flowers grow near the sidewalk, between the cracks in the concrete. Nobody really notices them, but somehow you always did. You stopped walking suddenly, pointing at the tiny colors like they were something important in the middle of an ordinary day. Spring wind moving softly through your light brown hair, sunlight reflecting in your eyes, almost too bright to look at. You said flowers bloom even in noisy places, and smiled like you believed it about yourself too. Train sounds in the distance, bikes passing after school. Your canvas shoes beside mine while pedals moved across the street. We bought iced coffee afterwards, sat near the river for hours, talking about future plans neither of us fully understood yet. Back then, everything felt unfinished in the best possible way. You pressed a small flower inside my notebook once. I found it again last winter, still faded softly between the pages. Funny how little things survive after people disappear. Now every spring afternoon feels a little connected to you. Warm air, quiet streets, and flowers growing beside the road. Sometimes I wonder if you still stop to look at them, or if growing older made you walk past too quickly. But whenever petals fall in the wind, I still remember that afternoon. You standing in sunlight like the season itself chose you. Rain tapping softly on the windshield, engine humming under the silence. We sat in the drive-through line without really looking at each other. Streetlights reflected on your face, golden and blurry through the glass. You stared out the window quietly, like your thoughts were somewhere else already. We shared fries automatically, like muscle memory, even though something between us already felt broken beyond repair. Late night radio voices filled the silence carefully, talking about old love songs and cities that never sleep. You asked me softly, do you think people change. I laughed like it was casual, but honestly I didn't know. The worker handed us our drinks, smiling like nothing was wrong. Meanwhile our whole relationship was ending inside that tiny car. Your fingers felt cold beside mine, condensation sliding down the cup. Outside the rain kept falling like the night didn't wanna end. We used to talk for hours about impossible futures together. Now even simple conversation felt difficult somehow. I watched headlights pass us slowly, reflections moving across your eyes. You look beautiful in that moment, which somehow made it worse. Then the radio started playing a song we used to love together, and suddenly neither of us knew where to look anymore. Some breakups happen loudly, doors slamming and screaming, but ours sounded more like windshield wipers moving back and forth in the rain. City lights outside the station glow. Old sneakers walking slow through Tokyo. Late trains rolling under neon signs. Summer air and cheap coffee after midnight. Lounge chairs playing softly through old speakers. Tiny songs of tired people coming home too late again. Window seats, rain sliding down the glass. Your voice mixing with the city noise. No big dreams, no dramatic movie scenes, just small nights that somehow stay forever. Stopping by the convenience store, warm cans and cold hands. Blue light shining on your tired face. We talk about leaving Tokyo someday. Different cities, different lives, but never really mean it. Lounge chairs in the background, like a soundtrack for growing up. On missed trains, for parking lots, for unfinished conversations. Streetlights passing slowly while the taxi turns the corner. You laughing quietly beside me, like everything is still okay. Maybe that's enough. Maybe songs don't need answers, just memories and somewhere to place them. Night fades in the morning, Tokyo still humming softly, and our little songs keep spinning across empty bedrooms at night. Lounge chairs for the kids still awake, for hearts moving too fast inside. Slow city nights. Lounge chairs, tiny lights in the dark, trying to hold on to moments before they disappear forever. Friday night, running through the noisy streets, just you and me, going somewhere far away. Blue lights flickering on your face, summer wind moving through your hair slowly. Last train already disappeared behind us. Your cold hand hidden inside my hoodie pocket. We don't talk much, but somehow it feels enough. Tokyo sounds distant when I'm walking next to you. Red signals blinking across wet roads. Taxi lights melting into midnight rain. You laugh softly, looking at nothing special, and suddenly I want this night forever. Friday night, city moves behind us. Your white sneakers splashing through puddles. Convenience store, coffee still warm in your hands. No plans for tomorrow, no reason to go home yet. Billboards shining disappeared as soon. Late train sliding through Tokyo, blue lights on your face again. You leaned against the window slowly, listening to songs through your AirPods. Summer rain on Shibuya streets, sneakers splashing through the crosswalk. You grabbed my hand while laughing, like the whole city belonged to us. Family Mart coffee after midnight, staying outside way too long, talking about leaving someday, but never really meaning it. Your hoodie smelled like softener, and a little bit like smoke. Tiny memories stay forever, even after people disappear. Then you started counting softly while spinning under neon lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run with me before morning comes. Your voice mixing with the city noise, taxi headlights moving past us. Everything glowing silver and blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't let this become a memory yet. Now it's winter near the station, cold wind through empty streets. I still hear your laughter, sometimes between train sounds late at night. Netflix pause inside my bedroom, unread messages on my phone. Tokyo keeps moving forward, but part of me stay with you. I walked past our old convenience store. The parking lot looks smaller somehow, still bright under fluorescent lights, still carrying pieces of us. Sometimes love ends quietly, without dramatic final scenes, just numbers, songs, street lights, and somebody slowly fading away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I still count without thinking, like if I reached the ending, you might appear beside me again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tokyo spinning endlessly, and somewhere inside the noise, you're still dancing next to me. Cheap motel lights flickering, rain against the windows. You sat cross-legged on the bed, eating convenience store ice cream. The TV played old music videos neither of us watched. We were too busy pretending this night will last forever. Your Apple charger beside the pillow, my jacket on the floor. Tiny details burned into memory for no reason at all. You asked me quietly, what happens after this? I kissed your forehead instead of answering. Outside the parking lot, streetlights blurred in the rain. The whole world felt suspended between youth and goodbye. The vending machine outside buzzed softly, cars passing on the highway. You leaned your head against my shoulder without saying anything. I remember your sleepy eyes reflecting TV lights softly, your fingers tracing shapes across the blanket absent-mindedly. We talked about impossible futures, cities we wanted to live in, versions of ourselves that probably never existed. Someplace stay inside. You Laptop glowing in the dark room. Netflix paused again halfway. You fell asleep during the movie, still breathing softly through headphones. Miles away but somehow close, that was our routine. Late night conversations, until one of us disappeared first. Your sleepy voice saying, stay awake a little longer. My phone heating up beside me at 3 a.m. Outside my apartment, when the trains kept moving, the city stayed awake even when we couldn't. You told me about your day, tiny stories nobody else heard. Like what coffee you bought, or which song got stuck in your head. Sometimes you fell asleep suddenly, mid-sentence without warning, and I'd listen to your breathing for a few extra minutes. Blue light across my ceiling, half-empty water bottles nearby, cold air slipping through the window while your voice filled the room. Long distance love feels strange, half digital, half real, trying to hold somebody through speakers and weak connections. Now the calls are gone, the silence feels louder, and every unfinished movie still reminds me of you. Sometimes Netflix asks, continue watching, and honestly, I still don't know how to answer. No, you still slow down near the station, even when you tell yourself you're not looking for anyone anymore. I know you still play music too loud at night, just to make the room feel smaller, and your thoughts feel quieter. Street lights moving across your ceiling, cars passing somewhere far below. Your phone screen glowing in the dark, long after midnight disappears. I know you still reread old conversations sometimes, not because you wanna go backward, but because certain words still feel warm. You always acted stronger than you felt, laughing first, changing subjects, looking away whenever things got serious. But I noticed the small things, the way your voice changed when you were tired, the way you stayed silent longer whenever goodbye felt too close. I know you still think about summer evenings, walking slowly without destination, your headphones half falling off while warm wind moved through empty streets. We talked about impossible futures back then, different apartments, different cities, different versions of ourselves, like growing up would suddenly explain everything. I know some nights still feel unfinished to you, like there was one conversation missing, one sentence nobody said in time. Rain sliding across train windows, reflections breaking in the glass, people sitting beside each other quietly, trying not to look lonely. Sometimes I think love changes into memory so gradually, you don't notice it happening. One day a song feels normal, and suddenly it ruins your whole evening. I know, because that still happens to me too. You once told me you remember too much, maybe you were right, because now small details follow me everywhere. Silver rings on strangers' hands, oversized hoodies in late autumn, the sound of shoes against station floors, and somehow all of it becomes you again. I know you probably moved on better than I did. Maybe your room feels lighter now, maybe your mornings feel easier. But I also know certain feelings don't fully disappear, they just become quieter over time, like distant train sounds at night, still there even after the city falls asleep. I know there are parts of us still hidden inside ordinary days, inside rainy sidewalks, inside old playlists, inside tired walks home. And honestly, I don't think love always needs a perfect ending. Sometimes it survives differently, as background noise, as muscle memory, as someone you still search for unconsciously crowded places. I know, because even now, without meaning to, I still do. I'll give you all my love, even the parts I never say out loud. The quiet thoughts, the late night worries, the dreams I hide from everyone else. I'll give you all my love in ordinary little ways. Walking slow beside you, saving songs that sound like you, remembering every small thing you mentioned once. Your voice still soft in the evening air, street lights reflecting in your eyes. You talk about random things while I pretend not to stare too much. Honestly, I think I started loving you quietly, long before I realized it myself. I will give you all my love, not movie scenes, not perfect words, just real moments that stay forever. Like waiting together for the train, sharing headphones on long rides, your cold hands inside my jacket pockets. Summer wind moving through empty streets. Some people want dramatic love, big promises, bright fireworks, but I think love looks softer than that. I think it looks like checking if you got home safely, listening carefully when you're tired, saving the last bite for you automatically. I will give you all my love, even on difficult days, even when we misunderstand each other, even when life becomes messy and loud, because somehow you still feel like peace to me. You laugh and suddenly the whole room changes. You look at me and ordinary nights feel important. You say my name softly and everything inside me slows down. Maybe love is simple sometimes. Maybe it's just finding one person who makes the future feel less frightening. I will give you all my love, slowly, honestly, without pretending to be cooler than I am. So if someday you get scared of the world or tired of carrying everything alone, come find me. I'll still be here, holding all the love I've been saving for you. Empty cups on the table, McDonald's fries getting cold. We stayed awake all night, talking about absolutely nothing. Outside the station, the sky slowly turned blue. Summer air moving softly through the empty streets. You leaned against my shoulder while waiting for the first train. Your hair smelled like rain and cheap shampoo. A convenience store radio played quietly, nobody else around us, just tired city lights and our reflections in the glass. You said I wish nights stay longer, and I almost told you I was already in love. We laughed at random strangers, made fun of terrible songs, shared earbuds while sitting on the cold station floor. The city fell half asleep, delivery trucks passing slowly, street lights flickering off one by one as morning approached quietly. You kept drawing shapes on my hand without noticing you were doing it, and somehow that tiny moment stayed inside me forever. I remember the exact color of the sky before sunrise, blue mixed with soft orange above the train. replay that whole night again, like an old camcorder video I never want to lose. You talk about New York like it's waiting for you somewhere, between old movie scenes and the photos saved on your phone. Snow falling on yellow taxis, steam rising from the streets, bright lights reflecting on west sidewalks, everything looking a little unreal. You tell me about bookstores in Brooklyn, tiny cafes you wanna find, walking through Central Park in winter with cold hands hidden in your coat. I like listening when you talk about it. Your eyes always change somehow, like you're already there, like part of your heart left early and it's saving a place for you. Late nights in your room, travel videos playing softly. You pause every few minutes just to point at something. You love that when you say, that street, that building, that view. And suddenly I wanna go to cause of the city, because of you. I wanna see New York the way you see it, not as a destination, but as a dream. A place where everything feels possible, where people start over, where love stories happen in the snow and nobody is afraid to want more. Maybe reality is different. Maybe the streets are louder. Maybe the winters are colder. Maybe the movies got some things wrong, but dreams don't have to be perfect. They just have to pull you forward. So someday, when airplanes cross the night sky and your voice gets excited again, I'll still remember this version of you. Sitting on the floor, scrolling the photos, smiling at a city you've never seen, already loving it like it belongs to your future. New York, not just a place, but the way your eyes shine whenever you say its name. Fireworks above the river, summer air still holding heat. Someone nearby playing new jeans from a tiny Bluetooth speaker. Crowds moving through neon streets. You caught us brushing past us softly. Sweet smoke from fruit stands mixed with cigarettes and perfume. Your fingers touch mine lightly while we walk beside the river, and suddenly everything around us felt unreal and cinematic. You laughed at something random, I don't even remember what, but somehow that tiny moment still stays perfect in my memory. Warm wind moving through your hair, city lights reflecting in your eyes. You looked at me for 1 second, like summer would never end. slowly walk toward the station. The whole city glowing softly under leftover smoke. Before getting on your train, you turned back once and smiled. Such a small moment, but impossible to forget. Now every summer festival feels incomplete. Every warm night feels nostalgic, like part of my youth disappeared into that season with you. Cold air after overtime, coffee from the vending machine. You wore that brown Carhartt jacket with your hands hidden inside the sleeves. The parking lot looks strangely beautiful, street lights reflecting in puddles, tiny blurry stars on cracked concrete. You smoked quietly beside the car, watching traffic in the distance. Neither of us wanted goodbye, but neither know how to stay. A train passed nearby slowly, its sound echoing through the dark. You looked tired in a beautiful way, like the end of a movie scene. Construction dust on our shoes, cold fingers holding warm cans. Two exhausted people after work, pretending everything felt normal. You asked softly, have you been happy lately? I laughed instead of answering, because the truth felt dangerous. Now every empty parking lot at night feels cinematic somehow, like memories are hiding quietly under fluorescent lights. Yeah, taxi lights reflecting on wet streets, blue glow from my phone screen. Another quiet argument tonight, another long ride home. You sat beside the window silently, scrolling through nothing. I wanted to say something honest, but the words stayed trapped inside me. The driver kept glancing in the mirror, like he could feel the tension too. Tokyo passing outside in blurry colors, neon signs melting in rain. After you left, I ordered Uber Eats again. Not because I was hungry, just because I hated the silence. Cold fries on the kitchen table, TV playing random late night shows. Your hoodie still near the entrance, like you forgot it on purpose. We used to laugh in this apartment about absolutely nothing. Now every tiny sound echoes too loudly after midnight. The city stayed awake until morning, and honestly, so did my heart. Tokyo Metro at 7 a.m. Gray buildings passing outside slowly. Everybody looked exhausted, holding coffee with sleepy eyes. You always leaned against my shoulder, like it happened naturally. Missing your stop almost every week, then blaming me while laughing. Your reflection mixed with train lights on the dark glass beside us. For a second you looked unreal. Some mornings we barely talked, too tired from working late nights, but somehow silence still felt warm back then. At Shibuya station, crowds move like waves around us. You fixed your makeup quickly, through giant windows, fake kitchens and tiny warm lights inside IKEA. Everything felt soft and possible. You sat on every sofa dramatically, laughing louder than everybody else. I kept watching you secretly, like I was already in love. Tiny conversations about the future. What kind of curtains would we buy? Would plants survive with us? Stupid little dreams that felt important. Families walked slowly around us, shopping carts rolling quietly, and somehow I imagined us there. Years later, without even trying, you picked up white coffee mugs and asked, would these match our apartment? Like we all